Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. As you guys see here, we got the 6-speed Mark IV Supra, we got the 6-speed C6 Corvette lined up here. You guys are probably wondering, why do I have these two out here? Well, for the last few months, I have been getting asked so many times over and over, hey, what do you prefer? You prefer the Corvette? You prefer the Supra? And it's like a weekly deal. So I figured, you know what? If those people would message me to ask me about that, I know there's a lot of people who probably want to ask me, but just don't message me. So I decided just to make a video and tell you what my thoughts are on that question. You know, which one is better? If I have a favorite, I'll let you know the pros and cons to each one. And you guys can decide for yourself if you're in the market for either a Supra or a Corvette. This is a 1993 Mark IV Supra that right now is on wastegate pressure. It's around 500 horsepower. This is a C6 Corvette with an LS3, and it's roughly around 470-ish, I'm assuming. But while driving them, they feel relatively close to how fast they are. So on this one, this is a stock 2JZ GTE. For those who have watched my channel, you guys know that I pretty much fabbed up the entire car. Now, before I changed the whole turbo setup, the car was tuned to 30 pounds and it made, you know, almost 700 horsepower. But now, since I did change up everything, I disconnected boost controller back down to around 500. Now this one over here, a little bit more basic. Beautiful American muscle, all motor, LS3 with a intake, headers, and a full exhaust. That's basically all the car has. This is your traditional Mark IV Supra interior. There's nothing aftermarket about the interior with the exception of the double din and the BTI screen here. But other than that, it's all stock interior. Very, very comfortable. Well, I'm 5'10". I'm not going to tell you what, guys, my weight, but I comfortably fit in here. Now, some people, just by seeing the videos, will comment, man, you barely fit in that car, because when you close the door, your knees are close to the side here, you know. But I mean, that ain't no big deal, bro. It leaves enough room to kick the clutch. Not this Supra, but the other one. I've actually been in that car for 2 hours straight on a long drive, and it was perfect, dude. No issues whatsoever. But I mean, interior wise, I cannot complain. Everything is like coordinated to you. It's kind of like a jet fighter, right? I mean, everything's towards the driver, but very nice interior. Before I forget, this is not OEM. This is an aftermarket carbon fiber steering wheel. We step over here to the Corvette. Nice electronic doors, something that's very nice that I never had before. So this is the interior for the C6 Corvette. Honestly, very similar to the Supra. I think if you fit in the Supra, you'll fit in the C6, vice versa. But I mean, it's very, very nice. Obviously, no back seat, right? So you stick your arm out and you're already in the trunk. So other than that, the C6 Corvette interior, very, very comfortable. You do sit a little bit further back, lower. You can actually feel the difference. Like on the Supra, you kind of feel like you're more raised up. On the Corvette, you're low. I mean, and that's just really all Corvettes. They're just low to the ground. And when you're sitting in one, you know you're in a Corvette. But other than that, in here, just a forged carbon fiber steering wheel with the suede shifter knobs, suede inserts on the steering wheel as well. But other than that, it's all factory. This is just how beautiful these cars come. Now, of course, we also got to go into the back just to see what it's like back here. This, obviously, not OEM. This is aftermarket. This is actually something I built myself. I had never done anything like this, so not too bad. But I mean, as far as space, there is a significant amount of space under here, which even this is enough to put more than enough groceries if you're ever going to go grocery shopping or something like this. But decent sized amount of space back here. Obviously, you do have back seats. Unlike the Corvette, it's a 2-seater car. This one you can fit 4 people. Very, very tight, but it is possible. All right, and then we come on over here to the Corvette. A ton of space, and I mean a ton of space. This one already has the subwoofer, sound system, all that stuff, and even at that, there is so much space. Bro, somebody could literally just lay down here and ride in the back if they had to. I'm not encouraging that, but I mean, if you were in a pinch, somebody could fit down there. There is a ton of space back here. I mean, yeah, this is like ultimate grocery getter for sure. So, basic overview of the cars. Now, obviously, let's go ahead and talk about the differences between the driving experiences. This car here, obviously being much newer, and I don't know if it's maybe because of the way the suspension is set up on this car or what it might be, but this car drives like a dream. And I'm talking about, it rides amazing. Whether you're going 10 miles an hour or 140 miles an hour, it is smooth. It is so comfortable. This car over here, it is from 1993, right? So it is 30 years old. It's, you know, it's very comfortable for its age, but every once in a while you'll hear a little bit of a, you know, squeaking or something. But again, this car very comfortable driving 10 or 100 and, you know, whatever speed you want to go to. I mean, overall, very, very nice. If now comfort wise, if I had to choose as far as ride quality, I have to give it to the Corvette. No questions about it. That is by far the best handling car I've ever driven. Now let's talk a little bit about the power. So, you know, I'm going to compare it the way the cars are now, because if I were to compare this car on 30 pounds of boost, there really isn't much of a comparison. This car would be way, way faster. So let's just say roughly 500 to 500 horsepower on each one. So the way the power comes on in the Corvette, it is instant, right? It is all motor. It doesn't matter what RPM you're in, what gear you're in, you floor it and it goes. So very, very nice. I mean, you just cannot complain about something like that. Now the Supra, depending on who you are, I mean, very, very nice power band, especially with this turbo setup, but you do have to be at a specific RPM, a specific gear. Once the power comes on, it goes. I mean, and it goes hard. Now the difference between something like this and something like this is on this one, when you floor it, let's just say you're going 2,000 RPM, you floor it, the power comes on hard. But, you know, at the top of the RPM, maybe around 58, 6,000 RPM, you feel it kind of slow down. You feel the power come off, to be completely honest with you. On this one is the exact opposite. You floor it at 2,000 RPM, you feel nothing. Nothing's happening. But then once you start picking up RPMs, I mean, you're getting close to 8,000 RPM, and the car is still pulling harder and harder. So as far as power is concerned, this is nice, but I am going to give it to the Supra because I'm more of a turbo guy. I prefer a little bit of lag and, you know, get all the power up top. And then I do like a lot of RPMs, right? And this one, you're very limited. This one, you can throw as much as you want to. So I'm going to give it to the Supra. Joe, what about you, boy? Which one do you like? Now let's talk about reliability. So it's a Toyota. It's an LS Chevy. Reliability is there on both of them, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, as long, you know, these cars being older, as long as you built it right, I mean, these cars will last you forever. These cars are really, really good. This car here, same thing. LS motors are probably one of the most reliable motors ever made. So I would feel comfortable to daily either one of these. I mean, this one, obviously, because I built it myself and I know I can trust it. This one, I mean, that's just the way they come from the factory. I don't have to worry about anything. So I think for reliability, it can go either way. Now, let's go ahead and cover one of the most important topics, and that is practicality. If somebody were to be in the market for either a Supra or Corvette, which, to be completely honest with you, I would find it very difficult how somebody can be one or the other, because the price points are absurdly different. But let's talk practicality. Let's just say money is not an issue for you. This is not practical to daily. This is not practical to drive around. This is. And let me explain why. Something like this here, if something were to happen to it, if somebody were to hit you, damage the fender, damage the quarter panel, damage anything, good luck finding parts for this car. It is very, very hard to find parts for this car. It is very expensive when you do. So this car here is not practical, at least not to daily drive. This is more, you know, an afternoon weekend warrior type of car. Go out to a car meet, go out for a cruise, or be like me and do YouTube videos. But not a practical car whatsoever. As far as like the cost of operation, right? I mean, it's too many risks involved with something like this. Now, something like this, parts for this cars are everywhere. I would comfortably daily this car anywhere, whether it was across the state, I mean, across to another state, I would drive this car, no questions whatsoever. I know I'm not gonna have any issues with it, and if God forbid, but if something were to happen to it, the parts are available everywhere, and they're not that expensive. I mean, there's companies who even make aftermarket fenders, aftermarket quarter panels, all this stuff, not an issue. So I mean, as far as practicality, I have to give it to the Corvette 100%. let's go ahead and touch on a subject that I try to avoid most of the time. I've made a couple of videos over this just because people ask so much, but let's talk about the financial aspect of it. Mark IV Supras. By this point, everybody knows that they're super expensive. Something like this, you're looking at somewhere around maybe $70,000 to $80,000 nowadays, because they're very, very expensive. Obviously, that is with a built rear end, T56 Magnum. The engine, you know, it's very low miles, but you know, full turbo kit. I mean, this car here is capable of making 700 to 800 horsepower easy. So 70, 80 grand for something like this, that's really not too feasible for most people. That's, you know, very, very on the very high end. So this one, obviously, probably not the best financial decision unless you're gonna do something special with it, like start a YouTube video, do something, or you know, or if it's your dream car, you don't plan on selling it ever. Yeah, that's my opinion. Now, the Corvette, these cars here are not that expensive compared to that, right? It's a very good price point as far as an entryway into a sports car. Something like this, you're looking at roughly around 30 to 40 grand, depending on what model you get. This car here is a base model with the Z06 body, LS3, T56, Z06 axles, you know, intake exhaust, all the stuff that I just told you about. And this right here, you can get something like this around 30 to 40 grand. I mean, half the price, right? A shitload of fun. You won't regret your purchase, I tell you that much. I sure as hell know I didn't regret this. But yeah, financially, Corvette takes it, obviously. All right, now let's go ahead and compare the sound between these two. This is a long tube X pipe to a Borla Attack exhaust. This is a 4-inch pipe to a 5-inch tip. So let me give you guys some sound comparison. All right, big difference in the sound. This one's obviously very, very loud. That one's loud too, but I mean, turbos generally just muffle the sound, right? So it's loud, but not too crazy. Now, I will tell you one thing. Whenever the wastegate opens up on this, it's really loud. So rev battle, that one will for sure win. Under power, I think this is louder. I could be wrong, but from driving it, that's just the way it seems. Now, to finish off the video, I'm sure most of you guys are going to say, well, which one will you take? Which one would you recommend purchasing? And that's a tough one, man. You know, I'm sharing all this information so that you guys can make your own decision. But I'll tell you this. If money was not an issue at all whatsoever, I would take this and I would build the hell out of it. I would make it to where it's as comfortable as this. But best bang for your buck has to go down to the Corvette. No questions about it. You know, I've driven a few sports cars myself, and this is probably the most comfortable, most fun driving car I've ever had. Especially when you take into consideration the price point. Don't get me wrong, the Supra is my dream car. This is my dream car here, and that's why I had such a hard time making this video, because I never thought I would have enjoyed the C6 Corvette as much as I've enjoyed it so far. And it's crazy because it is basically a stock car, right? So imagine You put a cam on it. You put a blower in it. Not a drag pack. I do not ever intend to make this car a drag car. Maybe 700-800 horsepower street car. That's it. But I can't even imagine what this car could turn into, or what my thoughts will be in the future about this car. But then again, the same thing goes for this one. This car can easily turn into a 1,000 horsepower street car, and then my opinion will again all over change and say this is my favorite car and I won't choose anything in the world over this. I don't know. They both have a lot of potentials. I'm gonna go ahead and let you make the decision for what's best for you. Hopefully this information has helped you. Having either one is a blessing. So congratulations to any of you who have been able to acquire one of these, and I hope you have a fun time with your car, building it, enjoying it. But that's gonna be it, you guys. I'm going to let y'all go with this, and if you guys want to see a different type of comparison, right? Maybe something like a fully built 1,000+ horsepower drag Supra against a not 1,000 horsepower, but you know, runs like 1,000 horsepower drag setup twin turbo Cobra. You guys want to see a comparison on that? Let me know. I'll get it done for you guys. And now, just to make it clear, there is a reason why I did a comparison with the red Supra and the Corvette and not the black Supra. The black Supra, it's on a whole different level. There's just really no point of comparing something like that. That's a different ball game. But the Mustang, I would say it's a good comparison, both 3-speed turbo 400 cars. So if you guys want to know about that, let me know and I'll do that on the next video. But until then, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. Later.